everyone, it's Tanya from Tanya Kraus Horsemanship here, and you are joining me for episode 2 of the Millie Diaries. So I've got her here in the arena. They've actually been locked in the arena overnight. I'm keeping them in a smaller area overnight because they're still a little bit worried about the herd and calling out and pacing and things like that. So I like to keep them that little bit more confined so they're not hitting, barbed wire fences or anything like that if they decide to run around during the night. So I've got Ripped, he's just off camera, he's in the round pen secured, and you can see Millie in the background with me. I'm just going to build on what we did yesterday. I'm just going to see, how easily I can get a hand on her, and my goal would be to catch her, but if it elevates to a certain level and that can't be achieved, then that's fine. I'll just leave it in good stead for the next session. So let's see how we go. So again, I'm not lying to her. She can see that I've got the halter in my hand. She's touching it. That little braciness when I do put the rope around her neck, and she's tipping her head to the outside, so I'm hoping to work on that. You'll notice that I'm going super slow. I don't want her to run away, but I certainly don't want to catch her by trapping her either. I want to give her lots of time to think in between these pauses. As I said yesterday, I just use my underhand there to tip her nose towards me. And once I do have her nose in the halter, I absolutely want to make sure that I do get it tied up quite swiftly. If she pulls back when the rope's around her neck, that's one thing, because it's just going to slide off. But if I'm kind of halfway through doing a nod and she pulls back and it gets kind of stuck on her head and the rope starts dragging, I could find myself, or she could find herself, in a fair bit of trouble. So I want to make sure that once she's secure, and I do want to keep a hold of this rope in case she kind of spooks and pulls back, which she is known to do that. She looks pretty, quiet, I guess you'd call it right now, but she has been known to pull back on that lead, and she will sort of run backwards if she gets pretty bothered about something. So again, from yesterday, I'm just going to ask her to bend as I go down the side of her. That keeps me and her a little bit safer. One, if she's tipped towards me, if she goes to kick out at me, I can pull the lead towards me and it's going to take her hips away from me. So that's one thing. The other thing about keeping that little bend in the body is the physiology behind the bend, which is helping to keep her a little calm. It keeps her eye on me, and it also doesn't allow her to be bent to the other way and sort of give her purchase if she decides to pull or run or something like that. So there's a few reasons why I'm going to go ahead and put that bend in her. It's not what I would call a correct lateral bend, but for a horse of this level of education, I'm not really fussing on correctness in the body. I'm more worried about her mind, and I'm worried about her and my safety. So you can see that she's a little fussy today. They have been fed already this morning. There's a nice lick and chew. It's just a body brush. So some horses like being brushed and some don't. But it is, unfortunately, it is something that we have to do. Obviously, once we start saddling them and things like that, we want to make sure that there's no dirt or anything underneath the saddle. So it is something that she's going to need to get used to. If she likes it, it's a bonus. If she doesn't like it, she's learning, which she obviously, her body language is indicating she's not fascinated by it at the moment. The head's up, she's a little tense. She's looking back at it. So I'm not going to sit in it for too long. I'm just going to do some basic strokes. Obviously I'm not saddling today, so there's no need to get her perfectly clean or anything like that. And I want to keep her pretty engaged with it. That's why I keep showing her whatever I pick up so she knows exactly what's happening. And she'll start to associate the smells of the equipment. Like obviously the hoof pick smells like hoof. So she'll start to figure out, oh, you've picked that up, so you're obviously going to pick up my hoof. So I didn't quite get the whole hoof cleaned, but building on yesterday when I just simply picked up the foot and then put it back down, I just want the idea of me using a tool to be coming into her mind. We just want to build that tiny little bit every day or every session. You know, I might do another session this afternoon, which I will film. I'm intending on filming everything I do with this mare. And the idea about picking up her feet is we're building to obviously being able to pick up her feet and trim them. So I don't want her to get the idea that she can take the foot away from me. So you saw there, if I can get her foot picked up, I can use the tool and I can get it put back down before she starts thinking about taking it away. Then I'm in front of the game. Whereas if she starts to pull on it and take it away, then I have to deal with teaching her not to take it away, as opposed to teaching her that I am going to give it back when I'm finished with it. So we can build the period of time that she's holding it up for, right until, you know, I ask Phil to do her feet or something like that. By the time I ask Phil to do her feet, she will be picking them up and holding them up for, you know, a good minute or a minute and a half or something like that, so he can get the trimming done. So there's a big sigh. You can see that she's pretty engaged. She's dropped the head, which is quite nice. Now she's looking at, I've got Phil here waiting to give a lesson, so she's just looking around at what's happening. But I like that she's sort of dropping her head and giving a nice big breath. I think that's a really good spot to leave the session. So thanks for joining me for Millie's session 2 for the Millie Diaries, and I look forward to seeing you in session 3.